Hi everybody, how are you? I want to welcome you to the first video of the distance learning program, and I want to say that I hope that all of you have been healthy and safe and that your families are doing well, and I can't wait to see you again. I miss you, and I hope we'll be able to be together soon. The first thing I'm going to do in this lesson is start with pronunciation. So if you can turn to page 60 of the Oxford Dictionary, the picture dictionary that all of you have. If you'll turn to page 60, I'm going to start by reading each of the words and phrases, and you can read along with me. And then after I do that, I'm going to read it a little bit more slowly so that you can practice yourselves. So here we go on page 60 of the Oxford Picture Dictionary. Housework. Dust the furniture. Recycle the newspapers. Clean the oven. Mop the floor. Polish the furniture. Make the bed. Put away the toys. Vacuum the carpet. Wash the windows. Sweep the floor. Scrub the sink. Empty the trash. Wash the dishes. Dry the dishes. Wipe the counter. Change the sheets. Take out the garbage. Pair practice. Make new conversations. Let's clean this place. First, I'll sweep the floor. I'll mop the floor when you finish. Ask your classmates, share the answers. Who does the housework in your home? How often do you wash the windows? When should kids start to do housework? Now I'm going to read the phrases and the words a little more slowly, and you can practice after me. There'll be a little pause in between each phrase. Housework. Dust the furniture. Recycle the newspapers. Clean the oven. Mop the floor. Polish the furniture. Make the bed. Put away the toys. Vacuum the carpet. Wash the windows. Sweep the floor. Scrub the sink. Empty the trash. Wash the dishes. Dry the dishes. Wipe the counter. Change the sheets. Take out the garbage. Pair practice. Make new conversations. Let's clean this place. First, I'll sweep the floor. I'll mop the floor when you finish. Ask your classmates, share the answers. Who does the housework in your home? How often do you wash the windows? When should kids start to do housework? Okay, now that we've finished the pronunciation part of the lesson, we're going to turn to the Ventures 3 book. Okay, so now everybody, I'd like for you to take out your Ventures 3 book and turn to page 24. Page 24 in the Ventures 3 book. We're going to start with Lesson D, and we're going to first talk about the lesson's focus. The focus of today's lesson is going to be to learn to identify examples that support statements, and we're also going to learn to identify parts of speech to define words. So we're going to identify examples that support statements and identify parts of speech to define words. So let's first look at the title of the article on page 24. We're on page 24, and we're looking at the title right here. And it says, Strategies for Learning English. You might wonder, well, what does the word strategies mean? Think about that for a second. What does the word strategies mean? Well, strategies are ways that people can accomplish goals. If you think about ideas that show you a way to accomplish goals, that would be a strategy. Think about, for example, if you wanted to wake up early in the morning to go to class. What would be some strategies that would help you do that? Well, you'd have to try to think of ways that you could wake up on time. So one of the strategies might be to set an alarm in the morning. Another one might be to get a neighbor or a friend to give you a call to help you wake up. Some people might open the windows and the blinds so that when they have the sun come in the morning, it wakes them up, and then they'd be able to wake up in time to go to the class. So these are different strategies that can help a person wake up on time to go to class. So just remember, when we read this title, Strategies for Learning English, these would be ideas or ways that could help you learn English and be more successful in communicating. So let's look at the title. It says, what do you think the word strategies means? Well, I've just explained that it's just a way to help you accomplish a goal. That's what a strategy is. Now, I'm going to read this article, and I'd like for you to read along with me. Strategies for Learning English. Have you ever felt discouraged because it's hard to speak and understand English? Don't give up. Here are 3 strategies to help you learn faster and remember more. Strategy number 1, set goals. Have you ever set goals for learning English? When you set goals, you decide what you want to learn. After you determine your purpose for learning, you can make a plan to help you reach your goals. Maybe your goal is to learn more vocabulary. There are many ways to do this. For example, you can read in English for 15 minutes every day. You can also learn one new word every day. Strategy number 2, look for opportunities to practice English. Talk to everyone. Speak with people in the store, at work, and in the park. Don't worry about making mistakes. And don't forget to ask questions. For example, if your teacher uses a word you don't understand, ask a question like, what does that word mean? Strategy number 3, guess. Don't try to translate every word. When you read, concentrate on clues such as pictures or other words in the sentence to help you understand. You can also make guesses when you are talking to people. For example, look at their faces and hand gestures, the way they move their hands, to help you guess the meaning. Set goals. Look for opportunities to practice and guess. Do these things every day, and you will learn more English. Now, down at the bottom of the page, it says, in a reading, for example, means details will follow. That means in the second, well, I guess the second strategy, where it says strategy number 2, when it says, for example, if your teacher uses a word you don't understand, ask a question like, what does the word mean? And that just tells you that that's details about how you shouldn't worry about making mistakes. It's a detail about how to ask questions. So whenever you see, for example, that just means that details are going to follow. Now that we've talked about what the word strategies means, let's talk about the second question in part 1 of lesson D. It says, how many strategies are there? What are they? By simply skimming the article, you can see that there are 3 strategies for learning English. Strategy number 1 says, set goals. Strategy number 2, look for opportunities to practice English. And strategy number 3 is guess. So that's the answer to the second question, how many strategies are there? There are 3 strategies: set goals, look for opportunities to practice English, and guess. Now let's turn to the next page, page 25. And let's look at part 3. Incidentally, if any of you have any questions about any of the words that were in the article, you can always text me, or you can look up the words in the dictionary to get their meaning. Everybody's got my phone number, so don't hesitate to text me if you don't understand any of the words. Now, if you look at part 3 on page 25, it says, what is the article about? Basically, that just means, can you summarize in 1 or 2 sentences what the entire article is about? Well, that's pretty easy. You can look at the first paragraph, and it says, here are 3 strategies to help you learn English faster and remember more. So basically, that would be a summary of what the article is about. It's going to give you 3 strategies about how to learn English faster and to remember more. Let's look at question number 2. What is an example of setting goals? Well, that's pretty easy to answer. If you go to the paragraph that says strategy number 1, set goals, all we have to do is to try to find an example of how people can set goals. So it says right here, for example, you can read in English for 15 minutes every day. You can also learn 1 new word every day. That would be a goal that you could set to help you learn English. If your goal was to learn more vocabulary, these would be strategies that could help you accomplish that. So the answer to question number 2, what's an example of setting goals? It would be the goal of learning more vocabulary. Now let's look at question number 3. What is an example of looking for opportunities to practice English? Well, the paragraph in the article about practicing English is this second strategy, number 2. And they want to find out what is an example of looking for an opportunity to practice English. Right here it says, speak with people in the store, at work, and in the park. You can talk to anybody. These would be opportunities to practice English. And it also says that you shouldn't worry about making mistakes. You can ask questions to any of the people that you might meet at the store or at work or in the park. And these would be people that would help you practice your conversation and understanding of spoken English. Question number 4. You ask someone in line at a supermarket, what time is it? What strategy are you using? Well, since we only have 3 strategies, setting goals, looking for opportunities to practice English, and guessing, I would say that that's an example of strategy number 2, looking for opportunities to practice English. Because when you see someone in the supermarket and you ask them a question, that's an example of an opportunity to practice English. So I would say the strategy that you're using is strategy number 2. Question number 5. If you read a story without using a dictionary, what clues help you guess? Now, when I read, most of the time, if I don't understand a word, I try to look at all the words that are surrounding the one that I don't understand, and I try to get the definition of the word from the context of the paragraph. So the words around some word that you don't understand can often give you a good idea of what the word means. So that's called getting the definition or the meaning of a word from the context of the paragraph. It's not always necessary to look up every word that you don't understand. Sometimes when you're just reading a paragraph, you can often understand what it means, the word that you're having a difficult time with. You can understand what it means when you just read the words that are around it. Number 6, which strategy do you think will help you learn English faster? Use evidence from the article to support your answer. Now that's a question that you can answer. You can answer that question individually and think about which strategy would help you best learn English. Now we're going to turn to part B of lesson 2. It says, look at the chart, find the vocabulary words in the article, and underline them. Use the context to decide the part of speech of each word, noun or verb, and write it in the chart. Circle the best definition to match the part of speech. The first word that's in this chart is set. And the book says that that part of speech is a verb. Remember, part of speech just means what is the verb or noun? You're trying to decide what is the part of speech that a particular word is. Is it a verb or is it a noun? And often you can determine whether it's a verb or a noun just by reading the sentence from the paragraph. Usually nouns have articles before them like a or an or the, and a verb is an action. Remember, a noun is a person, place, thing, or an idea, but a verb is an action. So the word set in this article is a verb because we're talking about setting goals. So that's an action. To set a goal would be an action. It means to decide upon a goal or think about a goal. So B is the correct definition. It says to choose or decide on something such as a goal. The next word, plan. What part of speech is plan? In paragraph number 2, it says after you determine your purpose for learning, You can make a plan. Plan is preceded by an article, which means that it's a noun. So the part of speech is noun, and the definition would be A, something you have decided to do. Next is practice. Practice is a verb, and its definition is B, to do something regularly to improve your ability. The next word is guess. Guess is a verb, and it's B, to give an answer that you think is right. Next is clues. Clues is a noun, and it means information you use to guess or solve problems. So the answer is A. The next word is pictures. Pictures is a noun, and the definition is A, paintings, drawings, or photographs. And finally, number 7 is gestures. Gestures is a noun, and its definition is A, hand movements that have a special meaning. That concludes the first lesson in today's video, and I hope that it was helpful to you and that you've been able to learn a lot about Unit 2, Lesson D. So thanks a lot, and I hope that you'll tune in for the next lesson